live. This is going to be interesting. Babe West is going to be with us. She is known as Portland's Cum Slut Princess. And I am very excited to get Babe West in here. And we are going to go to her here in just a few seconds. She is going to join us. I love the porno, as they say. Would you like to see the porno? And we are going to go to Babe West here in just a few moments. I just love the fact that she's Portland's Cum Slut Princess. You know, I dated a girl in high school who was a cum slut princess. No, I didn't. I didn't do that because I'm not that cool. I am definitely not that cool. I'm not even cool now to do that. So let's do this. We are gonna. I guess we're just gonna go to the top of the hour. Let's do this. Let's do the top of the hour here, my friends.
Hour number 2 starts now on the Jiggy Jaguar Experience.
There we go. I figured it would be longer. Well, whatever. Let's go to Babe West. She is going to join us here in just a few moments. She has probably one of the coolest, I guess, titles. She is Portland's Cum Slut Princess. I absolutely love it. She definitely fantastic. And we're going to go to her here on the old Skype, the old Skype-a-rooney here in just a few seconds. And you can get more information on her incredible website. She is also available on the old Twitter machine as well. And she is at babewestxxx.com. And she joins us here on our big broadcast. Babe West, welcome to the Jiggy Jaguar Experience. How are you, my friend?
Hi, thanks for having me. Yeah, what an introduction.
Hey, I'll tell you, I love all the titles. I love all the hoopla. You are great, my friend. You are great. So, how in the world did you get the title to be Portland's Cum Slut Princess? I gotta know. We gotta start there, my friend.
So that, well, when you hear something like Cum Slut Princess, you got to ask yourself, like, where's the tiara, or do you get, like, the pearls? But,
well, you get the pearls, but it might be a different kind of pearls, as they say. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off, my friend.
It's a funny little story. Ultimately, I have a series that's Random Acts of Blowjobs, and
Random Acts of Blowjobs, another great one. Oh my God, you're amazing, my friend. You are amazing.
Well, I love creating intriguing content. And with that, of course, in the industry and with all good safe sex, you're testing. So I have somebody who contacts these people and makes sure that they're tested and explain the whole thing, that they're going to, they get all the paperwork handled for me. So that literally the first time I'm meeting them ever is when I'm just walking up on them in some public space, giving them a blowjob, or like bringing them up to a hotel room, or like whatever the scenario is. So in all full disclosure, I guess it's not as random as, hey, I'm sitting in the theater and then, this person next to me, I'm like, you want a blowjob?
Well, I'll tell you anymore. You pretty much got to get your paperwork done. So, as odd as it seems, pretty much Random Acts of Blowjobs is probably gonna have to have a bunch of paperwork. So,
but when they first meet me for the first time, it's literally the first time we're meeting as well.
And that's great.
So it is.
I love that.
It is random as you can get, and with that, am I ever like, I'm a plus size performer, but I've been like every size of the spectrum, I guess, is where you could be at that. With my never really knowing where you get like, because people are always gatekeeping. So I wanted to move away from BBW, in part to the fact that like, why should I have to categorize what the fuck I'm doing? It's a great
Yes.
body. And I focus more on like, what am I really? I'm a cum slut princess. I like getting the sauce. I like,
Hey,
messes all around.
being a cum slut princess is tremendous. Also, something else that I've got to get your take on is this Twitter that you have here is great. You are. I'll tell you. You are probably going to be one of my new favorite people in the porn industry after today, because you're so goddamn entertaining. Your Twitter account is Babe Has Soul, SOLE, implying, of course, obviously, feet. And
That's my.
Don't get around pro wrestler Tony Atlas. He'll want you to walk on his face. But
And then you can also check out, if you haven't seen it, my main account is at the Babe West, and that's got a lot more juicier stuff. But yeah, I love my foot page. I decided to kind of like branch off on that one because I think that I've been in fetish communities modeling for almost a decade now, and had like an underground following that followed me from the days of Tumblr onto like when I was camming and on X Hamster until I lost that account, and then like followed me from like site to site to site to site. And so I finally decided to like branch off and actually give some more focus to my foot people, because I feel like these subculture communities in porn are actually coming more to the front. And it's not so much of, hey, can I fetishize you? More of, hey, I think this is really hot. Can I take a picture of you that's very artistic but also foot centric? And I'm like, hell yes. So yeah. I'm glad you knew about that page.
I'll tell you that we when you type Babe West into the old the old Twitter machine, that's the first thing that pops up is the foot page. So this whole thing of being in Portland, Oregon, the only things I know about Portland, Oregon, obviously, I just slip right into it, is Tom Likas, the radio guy, often refers to Portland, Oregon as Portland, Oregon, home of the other white meat. And then the other things I know is apparently you have, according to my my reporter who lives there, Mr. Mike Lewis, apparently you have a lot of strip clubs. There are a lot of strip clubs.
More strippers per capita than any other place in the United States. And not just that, we have open air pussy, y'all. I've performed all over the United States. I've been in places where you got blue laws in place that you got to cover your vortex. And if you don't know what the vortex is, it's like it's that area like here and like out, more than the bikini line. You can't show any crack, any fupa, any hair. And if your pasties like don't cover your areolas and then some, you can get fined and stuff. So in Portland, we have the most strip clubs per capita and very few like cover fees or minimum places, and then open air pussy, because under our Oregon Constitution, we can it's artistic expression. It's a protected free speech thing. So yeah.
Amazing.
The rumors are true.
Open air pussy. that I think is amazing. I love that term. You know, when this whole porn thing is over for you, you could go into the behind the scenes and just come up with the content that they that they do, because you've got all the various. The cum slut princess, the open air pussy, all the various stuff that you've come up with. I just think it's great.
Oh, I know how to write a hook, I guess. Everyone thinks they're a comedian. I don't think I am. I just try to make it interesting.
Well,
the ABCs.
You're great.
Always be creative.
I will have to say, I am very impressed with you. You are great. And we have got Babe West with us today. She joins us here on our big broadcast. You can find her on the old Twitter machine at the Babe West. She is a little bit of everything. She's a fetish model. She's an adult entertainer. She is proud to be a cum slut princess, which, by the way, we are very proud of that too here at the Big Show. And so I want to talk about this hair. You have got fabulous hair. Is this a wig, or did you dye that?
So it is my hair, my hair. But I won't lie. I do have some amazing extensions in. But it is my hair.
That's
also.
Awesome. That's awesome. So, is this just part of your look? Is this just, as they say in the pro wrestling world, is this your gimmick? Or
so yeah, I mean, like, in the last year, I've probably had like 8 different colors, but bright aesthetics. And then yeah, I'm really super feminine. Like, I wouldn't say I'm a girly girl. I definitely like do a lot of things that are out there and crazy. I've even done some wrestling. I took some classes with Roxy Astor.
Oh,
from, like,
no, you've done wrestling too. Oh my God! Just what I thought we had gotten through everything. No. You've done wrestling. Okay, explain the wrestling to me. What is going on here?
So it was before Glow was on Netflix and stuff. I've followed Matilda the Hun, Roxy Astor, and a bunch of the other original Glow ladies. WWE, like, as a kid, wrestling was just as natural as NASCAR in my house. So after that, I heard Roxy Astor was trying to get like Glow going, or some type of wrestling in that vein, with her daughter, and she was doing a tour. So naturally I was like, I'm gonna take some classes, because I already do like all sorts of like circus arts and floor work and pole, all this stuff, right? Silks, aerial, trapeze. Like I love, I want to be like a one-person circus, I guess, is what I'm really trying to do with my life.
I think you're almost there, my friend. Almost there.
I got to do a little bit more, but we'll be there. But yeah, so I took the class and I loved it. And I've done a little bit of work from there. Since then, nothing major, even amateur, just I've done a lot of like burlesque acts that are fun. I actually have a Glow act I performed with another gal, Celine Latrine, back in Portland. Gotta love our names. And like, where I get to totally slam her on stage, and like we're doing our voiceovers. We've already recorded it, but we're like acting and like
you've done voiceovers.
And then like I'm sitting on her face, like and I'm like the bad guy in it too, because I'm Zoya the Destroyer. And
you're
anyway,
a heel, as Jim Cornette would say. She's a heel.
It was so fun. And yeah, I love wrestling. I have a lot of mad respect for the people that do it, amateur and pro. It's just like any other thing that people are like, oh, well, that's just getting up and it's pretend. Or I'm like, no, it's still work. And
oh yeah, you're still working.
And yeah. It's, even if it's fun, it is exhausting. So Yeah, so that's my whole thing with taking Roxy Astor's class, and it was
That's
awesome
awesome.
meeting her. Like
That's
when you're
great.
among the legends, God's amongst us mere mortals, and we had a
That's
lot of fun with it.
fantastic. That is fantastic. We have got a, great guest with us today. Babe West is with us. She is amazing, and she just as we go along here, we just keep learning all sorts of things about Babe West. And she is great. And you're listening to us this week here on 990 WBOB out there in Rhode Island, of all places. And also the mix on Tuesdays. Babe West with us today here on our big program. And you can follow her on the old Twitter machine at the Babe West. And so you're doing the burlesque stuff. You're doing wrestling. I guess let's go back to this random acts of blowjobs. How the hell did this thing come about?
Um, so ultimately, I've always been a little bit of an exhibitionist. I don't know. I guess I go to these sex clubs and stuff, and I've been members for years, and I don't ever like really participate unless it's like a roping thing or like something that's not me having sex with strangers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, how could I have more sex with strangers? And
How
'cause
can I have
everybody-
more sex with strangers? You have some of the greatest quotes. You are great.
It's all a big gimmick to have consensual, non-attachment sex with as many people as possible, right? No, and really at the end of the day, sometimes I just want to see what's in their pants. So
Hey, yeah,
and
that's a hell of a
no
that's a
passion,
hell
like,
of a deal too.
And I don't think it's bad. Like I've definitely had guys in my life that are like, hey, like, would you let me eat your pussy? You don't have to do anything. I won't even like, can I just eat your pussy? And I'm like, yeah. And so I was looking for content that like I hadn't necessarily seen before. And I had this guy in Florida that I used to do. I'd be his hot wife, and he'd be like my military husband. And so back in the days when there was still like Backpage and the adult stuff on Craigslist, he would post "fuck my wife," right? And he paid me for my time, but like we go set this up, and I'd be doing a Skype show, and he was and you'd never see him. It wasn't like, I was straight up cucking him or anything. But like we'd lie to these guys and they would they'd pay for the rooms and stuff and fuck me for my husband. And so I just reached out to him. I was like, hey, can you like, this is what I need. Can you help set this up? And we had done things on FetLife like for like advertisements and other forums in the community. So yeah, I gave it to my friend with it, and it kind of blew up. People definitely love that shit, and so that's where we are with that.
So
it's all a ploy to suck more dick.
Well, that is you can't fault you for that, my friend. So I found this photo, and we've been popping this thing up off and on here. This photo of you in a bunny outfit. Where the hell was this taking place? What the hell's the story on this bunny outfit?
That's here in Vegas. So my online username for a long time has been like Bunny for Senpai, and this Twitter account's like my fourth Twitter account. My Instagram is like on its fifth or sixth reincarnation. My Tumblr got taken down years ago. Like I've hopped from I'm a refugee from like site after site after site for sex workers, but Bunny Girl and Bunny for Senpai, like those kind of things, have always been like my aesthetic. What is it that they used to call me? I don't like the word weeb because it was so like offensive, but a weeaboo or whatever. Like I've I took Japanese in high school. I've lived overseas. I've traveled all over. And I really love my anime and everything. So, and I love
Oh
rabbits. I've raised them.
Jesus, anime.
So
We're gonna have to, we'll have to get into that here in just a few. Good God, I'm gonna, Well, I guess before we get into that, do you do the Exotica conventions and the AVNs and all this stuff, or are you one of these people that I don't go to conventions?
I do. I went to the first and probably only Exotica that was in Portland in 2019.
That's awesome.
It was my first event. And it is what empowered me and actually made a lot of connections so I could continue working through the pandemic, right? Like,
that's great.
I split my time between a couple different things because I have businesses and I go back to school. So it really depends on what weekends they are. And last year, a lot of them just were not doable for me. But I do believe I'll be in Miami for sure. And I'm still like playing around with DC, thinking about it. I will be going to Fetish Con though in Florida in August as well. And so I definitely think conventions are great. They're awesome for like the fan service, especially. I know a lot of people will use them for like meeting and networking, but I don't know. I wouldn't still be here after all these years doing bigger and better things if it wasn't for the people that supported me through it. My porn seeds on like, on pirating sites, and that for me is a good indicator. I'm like, my paid scenes are getting watched. And, like that's great.
Hey, that's
like,
good. That's good.
Like, pay your performers, pay for your porn for sure. But like, when people like subscribe to a site and they love it enough and they're like, yeah, and people actually want to watch that shit, I'm like, okay, yeah, another pat on the back.
That's great. You're fantastic.
Yeah, and usually it's like people come into like my OnlyFans or whatever, and they're like, hey, I saw you on the site. And I'm like, oh, did you? And they're like, well, actually, I downloaded a video. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so I do like going to events. I've done conventions like Comic-Con and stuff for years as well. And I don't like being sick. So I kind of pick and choose.
Yes. Yeah.
And these days, as soon as you announce something, like everything changes too. Like getting ready to announce an event that was happening in Portland at the end of this month I was going to be at. And then they're like, actually, we canceled it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Glad I didn't waste the time to say I was going to do this thing.
That's right. So back to the anime thing. I don't understand the anime stuff. And a few years ago, when I got linked up with the lovely and talented Britannia, she is gaga for this anime stuff. Good God, Brittany's into this anime nonsense. She'll sit there, she'll watch these Japanese people talk to each other, and then she just laughs her goddamn dad off. And I'm like, what are they saying? You don't know what they're saying. And we went, you bring up the Comic-Con thing. We went to a Comic-Con one time where they had the entire cast, and I'm sure you're going to know who these people are the minute I say this anime show. They had the entire cast of this thing called My Hero Academia. And she's like, we've got to go to this panel that they're going to be at. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I didn't think this was that big of a deal. They literally had like 50,000 people at this fucking thing. They were letting people in sections because they didn't know if they were going to have room for everyone.
Well, if you think anime conventions are bad, have you ever been to a Trekkie convention?
No.
That's where it starts for me.
I would love to go to a Star Trek convention, though. I would love to go to a Star Wars convention, but so you're into the anime. Are you one of these people that you don't? What is it? What is it? She always says the thing about the. Oh, they released this anime, and she doesn't. You can wait for the English dub version, or you can get it before.
Oh, the sub dub war.
That's it.
So I am old school enough like to be able to say that I used to have to like wait. The only anime that was on TV was at like 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. It was Sailor Moon, up until Pokemon, right?
That's
Like,
right.
and it came on like before anybody else in my house was up needing to do anything. So I would get up, watch like Garfield and Friends, and then Sailor Moon. And then I moved to Europe when I was like 12 and was flooded with this market and access to manga and German dub versions and just a lot more exposure. And it was the first time I had really seen like forward storytelling written by women. A lot of the original mangas and like magical girl genre and a lot of the more cutesy cute girl, like people think like those are male writers, and for a long time, especially through like the 80s and 90s, it was female writers writing for female audience. And I was just engulfed, and there was a lot of sexual tension and just stories you don't see in American cartoons. And I love cartoons in general, but it definitely wasn't Looney Tunes or Disney, and I was into it. And so there was a time where we didn't have English dub. If I can't devote time, like I'm watching through Boruto, which is great. If I don't have time to like listen, yeah, I'm stuck with dubs because I am too busy to sit and read. I love Korean dramas though too. I love foreign films in general, and I will sit and read a lot already. So it just depends on like what I'm doing, and for me, it has to be accessible. If it's not accessible, I can't do it because I'm just too damn busy. So
I'm just too damn busy. That's right.
And then you have like series like One Piece that they're still
that's another name I've heard.
Over 1,000 episodes, and they're still being written and in the manga. So. And I'm also not one of those people that give a fuck about canon for the most part. Like when things get changed because it's better for the shows, that's a business decision. And I'm not mad. Like I don't know. I don't give. I got more important things in my life to give a shit about like which version's better.
That's right. Well, I always hear all these terms out of Brittany like. I'll be like, what the hell is this? And she's like, it's called a slice of life. I'm like, what the fuck is a slice of life? Or she'll be watching these things like there was something about my cat, my roommate's a cat or some kind of crap. Have you heard of this thing?
Yes, my favorite is The Way of the Household or The House Husband, and it's this Yakuza. I read the manga, I love it, and it finally came to like Netflix or something, and it got picked up for an actual live action show too. And I'm like, yes. So it's hilarious.
See, I used to watch this one anime on Saturday evenings on the Cartoon Network, and it was called Cowboy Bebop. And I used to bring this up to Brit. She got no clue what the hell Cowboy Bebop is, and then Netflix made a live action version of it. And I've watched a couple episodes of it, but I don't know. I remember anime like Voltron. I would consider Voltron anime.
Oh, definitely.
I would consider what's some of that other stuff. There was Voltron. There was just some of these others. Like you brought up Sailor Moon, which is great. But I watch all forms of cartoons. I don't consider, you bring up cartoons, I don't consider all this Pixar stuff as cartoons. I'm like, what? I'm used to like old school like cartoons, G.I. Joe and Mask and some of that other stuff. But I don't really consider the Pixar stuff animation, but everybody just loves the crap out of it. So
I guess it would be like more you know how they have like the juvenile section of the library or whatever. Like I think that cartoons or these media, whether they're Rankin Bass old claymation and stop motion to
like
the
Thunderbirds and stuff like that.
yeah. Or if it's like puppetry, even like Muppet Studios, Jim Henson's work, Brian Henson's work, or like going on into like the 3D animation, like you said, Pixar,
Yes.
and all the studios creating like new versions of cartoons and these 3D visual effects and all that. Like, I think we can at least say that that's juvenile entertainment, even if I don't feel like it's juvenile. Like it's definitely targeted for younger audiences or whatever. And I think it's all great. Like even the shit I don't really like
Even the shit I don't really like.
because it's being created, like, and that
It's
I'm sure it has audiences. And I didn't really dig the Star Trek stuff that was like, or Star Wars stuff that was 3D, but my kids loved the fuck out of it. I didn't like. I was like, this looks so weird. And I don't know, but like I'll watch a Pixar movie any day because they're telling like compelling stories, and I love like all the work that goes into getting these stories out. And often you're learning a lot about the production team, like the producer, like who was the
Yes.
director on this. It's their own like voice coming out through it. So I just love all that a lot more than I'll watch a cartoon or a kids movie almost any day over like a lot of other shit.
Now, one thing I want to cover with you before we end our little soiree today is pierced nipples. You have pierced nipples. How did you decide? Hey, I need to have pierced nipples. What was the idea behind that? I've always been a big perv fan of pierced nipples, but every chick that I've ever dated, I never can get her to pierce her nipples. So
I've actually had mine pierced 3 times
wow.
because I have children and I was breastfeeding, so I'd take them out. You can't breastfeed with, you don't want to choke a baby. Does not make for good life. Short-lived parenting. Anyway,
That's right.
so,
Another satisfying parenting experience.
you know. So with all that, I have pierced them 3 times. I started self-piercing at a young age. Thought I was going to be a tattoo artist, piercer, all that shit, like in California, little mall rat, and had too much free time on my hands. And I actually got my clit pierced, like the hood of my clit pierced at like 17,
Wow.
and decided, okay, I'm going to get my titties pierced now. And it was perfect. And I haven't really gone back since. I dig them. I think that they're aesthetically pleasing, and I have really good nipple sensitivity, and that hasn't diminished. So it's nice. Like it's an aesthetics thing, but also like I have really big areolas, and if you haven't seen them, you should go check them out. They're all over the internet. Like
They're
just don't
all over the internet. As my good friend Frank Catola would say, the web is lousy with Babe West's nipples.
So it kind of offsets and gives something else to look at, because otherwise that's a lot of titty looking at you in the face sometimes. I'm sure
Yes.
it's intimidating. Like, do I like put the whole thing in my mouth or what? Yeah, so
You are terrific.
and I'm constantly changing out the gear. I got these little ghosts in right now that glow in the dark, and it's just fun.
Oh my
They
God.
look more sad than they should be, though. They're like hanging out on a pair of tits, and they're like sad ghosts. So I don't know what that's about.
Well, you are great, but before we let you go, how do people get in touch with you online and consume your content and everything?
Oh my goodness. So definitely thebabewest.com has all my links. And then if you hit up my Instagram, I'm always posting content and have tons of backup pages because, otherwise they can always email me if they have a booking question, do private shows, all the other stuff at bookbabewest@gmail.com. And here in the next I'm actually out in Vegas. I'm doing my first content house where through my new media company, Westward Ho Media.
Of course.
And well, I had to get my name in there somewhere. So
That's right.
Ho, Heaux. And if you have a question about performing in my film and you're like established talent, you can always email babe@westwardhomedia.com. And I'll be posting updates this week as we go into my inaugural event. So definitely get on there and check shit out. It's fun.
Fantastic. Well, you have been great. This has been fun, and I definitely look forward to talking to you soon. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day, and have fun out there in Vegas.
Thanks so much, James. I appreciate you.
Thank you, my friend. There she goes. That is Babe West. The Babe West, by the way. Get a hold of us on the old Twitter machine at JIGGYJAGUAR, and we are going to take a brief time out. And when we come back, we have got more coming up here on our world famous Jiggy Jaguar Experience.